Hello guys, this is Savas from Savas Designs. It's been a very long time since I made my last video, so today this will change because I have a new character and I want to share my work process with you. So if you like it, you can take some ideas from me, or you can comment and give me some ideas from you. So the character I chose to illustrate this time is from the movie Boudica, if I spell this correctly. It's a female warrior from the ancient Roman times. She was from ancient Britain, and that inspired me to draw. So, as you can see, I start by sketching. So, first of all, I find my reference, obviously, and from this reference, I take some elements from each one. I decide what the posture is going to look like first, and then I use this reference to sketch. So here, as you can see, I have a rough idea of the body posture. I want her to look like she's striding with her sword, like she's in combat, fighting. So I start by drawing very rough. So I think of this as a construction site actually. It's a construction, I do rough lines. I don't want to get into detail at this stage. I check my proportions as you see to make sure they are correct. But this is an illustration, so it can be a little bit exaggerated sometimes. I like to exaggerate the characters and it looks cool. The body parts, the different gear can be a little bit tilted and not realistic, let's say, in a sense. It is realistic, but not supernatural realistic. It's part of drawing an illustration, I guess. So you decide what gear you're gonna put on this character. The gear is very important. It's gonna give a story to the character. It's gonna say like where she's from, what era she's living in, and it's gonna make the composition look more cool, quite funny. So as you see, the sketching process is very rough. Afterwards, we're gonna refine the line, and this will give us a silhouette to the character. So this is important. But for now, I just experiment. I check what is balanced, what is not balanced. I put like the sword here and I remove it because it just doesn't look good. And this is experimental phase, let's say. After this phase, I put a black block like on the character because I want to take the silhouette. The silhouette is very important because it will show you if the character is balanced or not. So once this is checked, you can go on, and what I do is I refine my sketch. So I decide how the character is gonna look like, and I draw like the final lines, let's say. Some lines thin, some lines thicker, if I want to give more attention, if there is more shadow on this body part. I tend to do thicker lines. Again, this is a very important stage for me, but as I go forward and I will add some color, I can come back and change some things. Like, it's not the end of the world if you want to change some things later. And after your line art is ready, what I do, I add the colors. So I add blocks of colors. Usually I use like the skin tone, which is one color, and 3 or 4 other colors maximum. The reason it's easier for the eye to process. I don't want it to look too busy. Usually it's like a norm, but not actually a norm. You can cheat it. It's like 50% main color, 30% secondary color, and 20% another color, like third color. But the skin tones are not included, or white or gray colors are not included in this. So after I put my bases, I do the shadows. And How I do the shadows? I add black in my main color, and I do it a little bit more warmer color or colder color, depends on the shadow color you want to give it to. And after, I choose the basis color again, put some white, make it a little bit warmer usually, and draw where the light hits. As you can see, I also mark where the light is coming from, and usually I have 3 light sources. So it's the main light source, secondary light, and the reflection light, which comes from bounces, like when the light hits the ground and bounces off. So I mark this on my compositions usually, just to remember, I guess. So as you see now, I'm drawing the fur, and I would really like to comment this because one mistake I used to do is to draw everything in order. But as I realized later on, when I draw trees or when I draw waves or fur, nature hates order. So if I draw lines like this, repeating each other, it's not gonna be natural. So the more random the lines, the more random the fur, the waves, the more natural it looks. So I just do it a little bit messy on this stage. Same as the hair, but the hair is a different story, because on the hair you want to make it look a little bit more 3D. So it's kind of messy, it's not in order, except certain hairstyles, but it should look 3D. You want to show its hair form on the character, and this is what I do right now, as you see. After you refine the hair, you put some color on. You need to decide what color the hair will look like, and there are not many hair colors, but like it's up to you basically. I've made characters with green hair, blue hair, gray, anything, as long as it looks balanced. It needs to look balanced. Also, what I would like to mention is that there are different ways of putting shades in your artwork. One way is to pick the main color and add a little bit of black. Another way, which is usually used in more realistic kind of characters or compositions, is you choose the color source, the light source color, and you use this for shade. So in this case, I use kind of dark desaturated green for the body shades and the shadows, and also for the gear shadows I use the same color. If you notice, the armor and the hair and the fur, they pretty much have the same shadow color. I don't do the same for the bright parts. I don't do this because the light behaves differently there. So having said that, I move on to add details. This is kind of when your drawing comes to life, and it's kind of fun to do that stage, and you add details. You want to work with the expression. The main focus of your character is gonna be the head and the hands. So I always put a lot of effort to make it with the expression. It's gonna make the character show some emotions, which is very important for your drawing to have emotions. After I put the secondary light, choose a color, what the color is gonna be, and we already know the direction that the secondary light is coming from. So I use this color with thin lines, not too much, depends on what you want, and I add this, in this case purple. And then the third light, which is the reflection light, this comes from the ground in this case. I want to put some on the chin, under the nose, so under. pretty much you don't follow any norms. I don't do, because I decide where the light hits eventually. Like, whatever looks good, I understand it needs to follow an order, but if it looks good, if it works, for me it's okay. Uh, Otherwise, I would just take a picture. That would be it. So after this, I just continue adding light, changing the colors a little bit, and refining the edges. And after this stage, what I do is I take a little bit of black, put it on multiply, and draw where one surface meets the other surface. So you see my fingers, where the one finger meets the other is darker. So I draw black there, and I put it on multiply, lower the opacity, and this makes this effect. And I use this everywhere where surfaces touching each other. So after this, you draw the cast shadows, because when the light hits, you have cast shadows as well. Also multiply with black color, and after that, you pretty much play with it, decide what's good, what's not good, change colors, change the tones, saturate, desaturate. The most saturated part for me is always the face, because this is where I want the attention of the viewer to be. But if the attention is to be in a different place, then you saturate this place more, and you kind of blur the rest of the drawing. So I'm not afraid to use the blur tool. It's very important. You just blur everything out, and you have in focus your central point. This is very important. And after, as you can see, I just add more highlights, reflection lights, and just kind of putting an atmosphere in the whole composition. Because now it's not the character, I also have background, so it's going to be a whole composition with atmosphere. This character needs to be inside the atmosphere, not like a sticker on a piece of paper. So after this, I have more details, because the more I work on the drawing, the more I see stuff that need to be changed. So I fix the sword, I fix the light source, the reflection lights and everything. And yeah, as you see, the sword needs to be bigger, it's more balanced. And after, what I usually do, I switch the canvas. This is very important, guys. Switch the canvas. Why? Because you see the drawing through a different perspective, and the form suddenly changes, so you can see that it's not as balanced as it looks if you switch it. And then you switch it back, and you do this process over and over again to check the balance. So I do this all the time. After, because as you know, this drawing is on Procreate, after I always put it on Photoshop. Why? Because I kind of like to use a little bit of hue saturation or vibrance. Some people don't do this, they don't agree, but for me, it works. So I hope you enjoy my work process. If you have any comments, any suggestions, let me know. I hope you learned something cool, and keep in touch. I will be uploading new videos. Thank you.